What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the OddsShopper channel, coming to you with a two-game Monday night edition of NFL Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I'm going to kind of push through this one. Still kind of fighting something. Not sure where this kind of came up from this afternoon, but I'm going to persevere. We're going to get ourselves into the NFL slate. Two games, including my Minnesota Vikings hosting the Chicago Bears. We're going to start with that one, of course, and then half an hour later, kind of weird how this schedule works, we got Atlanta visiting Vegas. That's kind of a weird one, but I'm going to break it all down for you, and I have a single game parlay for you. That's going to be how we attack one of these games. Ooh, we shall find out. Lindy 50, though, would love to see you guys in that premium Discord if you are so inclined. That is awesome. Again, 50% off becomes $10 for your first week, or $25 for your first month, less than $1 a day to get all of my plays. And trust me, I'm betting almost every single day. Well, I've literally bet every single day, I believe, since like right around July 4th, I think, the last day that I took a day off. But that is neither here nor there. Even when I was over in Europe, just finding ways to bet everything. Hi, Bet365. Damn, you're fine. I'll suck it to you one more time. But until then, producer Jacob, hi, hello. Two games in the National Football League. Let's get to the picks. Our first game right out of the gate. Oh, my Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. 7 consecutive losses now for the Chicago Bears. They're getting 6.5 points in this spot, 7 points in some spots as well. 43.5, 44 total. And this is really what I want to bring up is Brock Purdy looked invincible against this Bears defense. This Bears defense is not what you or I or anybody is accustomed to. In fact, they'd been performing pretty decent at the early portion of the season, but as you remove head coaches and offensive coordinators, Shane Waldron gone, and everybody gone basically from that Chicago coaching staff, they've had glimpses here and there, but it's mainly been on the offensive side of the football. And that's kind of what they've been trying to address mainly, is getting Caleb Williams comfortable, having him out there, putting in that work, Devin. Don't give up. That's a great commercial for the people who care. And Caleb Williams' performances have been much, much better here of late. In fact, the last 3 games, he's had 7 touchdowns, 0 picks. 7 touchdowns, 0 picks. That's the kind of stuff that they were looking for coming into the season. But this may be a blessing in disguise, because you get rid of the coaching staff that wasn't working. You have Caleb Williams out there with Roma Dunze, who is definitely that dude. DJ Moore, who's definitely that dude. And Keenan Allen, who's been that dude at times, but has been a little bit lackluster at times here this season. I think some of his inefficiency can definitely be traced back to the fact that Kellen Moore is no longer his offensive coordinator. He goes from being with the Chargers to now being with Philly. And we've seen Devonta Smith. I mean, he looked awesome again here on Sunday. Massive upside there on a week in, week out basis with Devonta Smith, purely because in that passing game, the slot that Kellen Moore has just created monsters out of. CeeDee Lamb, Keenan Allen, everybody that he's basically ran into across his coaching career. Definitely think that you're going to look at Keenan Allen having some of those type games, but against the Minnesota Vikings with the highest blitz rate in the entire NFL, I don't really think this is the ideal spot on, a Monday night spot for Caleb Williams to be going out and facing them. Don't really see any of his props as being like advantageous to short here at the moment, which kind of leads me into this. Sam Darnold was the nuke of all nukes for us the other day in the lock department, and despite going 1-1 in my locks here on Sunday, yay, that ended up being way sweatier than it needed to be with Parker Washington. And obviously, Chuba Hubbard never stood a chance. I mean, I don't even know what Carolina's offense was doing. They had so many bad fumbles, killer drives. Dallas, hey, I mean, that's kind of what it is. You have a Micah Parsons actually playing on the edge there, and that's a dude who's coming after you. If you're Bryce Young, it didn't look very good overall. But in this specific spot, Sam Darnold, yet again, goes and eviscerates Atlanta. I said that he would. 347 yards through the air. All we needed was like 245 or something. It was just an absolute joke how low his prop was. Why are his props sitting around 250 against the Bears? And this is a way better matchup than I think people realize. 218 passing yards through the air. Sure, that's been like the baseline. That's only 18th in the NFL, so it's basically middle of the pack. But they've given up massive outlier performances lately to guys like Brock Purdy, to basically everybody down the line. They gave it up to Detroit. I mean, most people do. Jared Goff, hi, hello. They should have won that football game for what it's worth. But Minnesota, another spot where it's just like this Bears defense just gets completely pulverized. And now you get Minnesota in the dome at home yet again with Jordan Addison playing the way he is. Justin Jefferson is that dude. And TJ Hawkinson being on the field a lot more as opposed to Josh Oliver or Johnny Munt or whomever else was playing tight end before TJ Hawkinson could get up to like 70-80% of snaps. I love a single game parlay here. Sam Darnold, 250 plus passing yards. Jordan Addison, 50 or 52.5, which is where his prop is set. You could get the 50 alt line. And TJ Hawkinson, 40 receiving yards. I'm okay with 45 as well, depending on where you play this at. I fired this up at Hard Rock. This is going to be north of the plus 550 number here. That's ridiculous. You could get this, right around plus 450, plus 500. I'm okay with both of those totals here because I don't find it very unlikely that Minnesota isn't able to move the ball through the air with this current version of our offensive line playing at the level it is. I mean, hi, Robinson. You've been actually pretty decent for us at the left tackle position. And then Minnesota, I'm going to call this a lean like. I know a lot of you don't have prop exposure out there or don't want prop exposure out there. I'm not going to attach Minnesota minus 6.5 to this purely because I think there are some game scripts where you can cash 250 plus 50 plus 40 and have it go poorly for Minnesota. But there is no doubt that their passing rate over expectation has been off the charts. Love what I'm seeing from my Minnesota Vikings. Also love that I can bring you 50% off for my Tails package from now until the end of time. That is 50% off using promo code Lindy50. You go to the link below. You want to jump in a Discord where not only myself providing plays, but a lot of sharp subscribers as well, throwing in their plays, throwing in their thoughts every single day. And I've really loved the back and forth. In fact, ended up on some locks recently because of some really sharp analysis from some people in the Discord. Hasn't always worked out, but you know what? That's the name of the game. You want to get your money in good. And I love being surrounded by sharp people. And well, I try to inspire some greatness too while I'm at it from time to time. It's kind of my job too. $10 for a week, $25 for a month. Would love to see you guys in there with that promo code, your first month or first week, Lindy50. Alrighty, to the last game of the night. The Raiders taking on the Atlanta Falcons. They're hosting them, that is. Vegas, though, the 5.5 point dogs. And it took me a second because I was like, wait, who's going to be playing quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders here on Monday? Oh, wouldn't you know it? It's Desmond Ridder. Okay. Didn't know when that happened, but Desmond Ridder is going to be playing quarterback here for Vegas, and that's not ideal for them because you go through his game log. Cincinnati didn't really go well. Denver didn't really go well. Tampa Bay didn't really go well. He's had 3 appearances here thus far. 1 touchdown, no picks, just 239 yards of passing. Huge downgrade to the likes of Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, but this Atlanta defense is porous. It is terrible, and I'm happy because I'm on the under of 9.5 wins here for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm very heavy on Tampa Bay to win their division, the NFC South. And those both look awesome in the aftermath of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking it to the Chargers, 40-17. Probably the most surprising blowout win of the entire day there. Mike Evans is that dude. Jalen McMillan starting to be that dude here as well. But covering this one, a couple of things that stand out to me. First off, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod. I think we see Drake London being more of like a possession type receiver here going forward. And, he's not going to be the guy getting the deep shots, but I think he's still going to be somebody that you can look at from a volume-based perspective is going to have some big games. Just that Ray McLeod out of the slot, he's had some really good matchups. Again, Minnesota, a little bit more vulnerable out of the slot. Didn't really talk about that from the last game. We could have covered that with the Keenan Allen. Again, I think Keenan Allen's going to have big games. Hopefully not on Monday, but I look at Ray McLeod as just a guy that, hey, if you need to funnel it to him as opposed to Kyle Pitts, I'm just fine with that. But what happened to Kyle Pitts? What happened to Kyle Pitts? We had seen some massive upside from him in the middle of this season, and now he has just disappeared yet again. He's had 2 catches the last 3 weeks for a total of 23 yards. Yes, it was Denver, Chargers, and Minnesota, but that is abysmal stuff coming from Kyle Pitts, and I don't really know how I feel about that specifically, but I do know that this entire game has some real weird pieces to it. The other piece, Alexander Mattison is back in the backfield for this Vegas Raiders team, and yet they announced very clearly from the tippy top there from Antonio Pierce that Sincere McCormick is going to continue to be the RB1 for this team. Now, Sincere McCormick looked okay, 15 carries, 78 yards. He's had 5.3 yards per carry the last 2 weeks. Really decent stuff on the ground, but he adds basically nothing through the air. You have Desmond Ridder playing quarterback out there. Alexander Madison has had a decent pass catching profile in the past year with the Minnesota Vikings specifically before last season when it was a complete disaster. Why wouldn't you have Amir Abdullah out there to maybe help him out or do some other things? Oh yeah, you're trying to actively lose football games. That's what it is. But despite themselves, I think with some of the pass catching ability they have just from Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, despite the fact that I don't like them at their current yardage props, I think they find enough success. I have to look at the Vegas Raiders side. I'm just going to make them a lean for now because this whole game just has so much weirdness to it that it's hard for me to want to invest too much. Maybe I find something that really stands out to me tomorrow. I had some people, hey, Bijan Robinson, anytime touchdown. The number is just completely unbettable. Like it just is. I looked at the other one, Kirk Cousins to throw a pick. Well, it was minus 120. It's sitting like minus 140, minus 150 now. I'm not going to be betting him at those kind of numbers in a game that they're expected to be leading. So Vegas plus 5.5 is a lean. Sincere McCormick under 57.5 rushing yards because I just don't trust Antonio Pierce to just give him the workload. And I also don't think that he could possibly continue to be going 5.2, 5.3 yards per carry game after game after game here. Has he looked decent? Sure, but he's also Sincere McCormick. Let's be dead serious. 57.5. Pretty large number in a game that they are expected to show. That does it for another edition of NFL Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays on this 2-game slate that we have before us. Yeah, I mean, a single game parlay thrown into the mix. Who'd have thunk it? Not you, not me. Looking at that Minnesota minus 6.5 as a potential solo play as well. So you can take that one if you're really, really looking for something else. And obviously Atlanta, Las Vegas, I'll revisit it tomorrow. But right now, oh boy, is that just scrumdiddlyumptious piece of crap. But anyway, we got ourselves tails going here right now. Lindy 50, check that out if you're so inclined. At Eric Lindquist, you can follow me there over on X as well. Until next time, friends, until Thursday night, NFL here. Off of 1-1 on the old lock department on Sunday. We had some good, Cincy minus 5.5. We had some bad, Devon Achane anytime touchdown. It was pretty lukewarm. I'm ready to bounce back in a big way. Until next time, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NFL streets on Monday.